Yep. Well, we're here now. We're live
Okay.
there, and I'm about to get us live on Instagram.
Live Channel 5.
All right, and now we're live on IG, so we're live everywhere.
Get it.
All right. What's up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Real Talk, Real Growth. So excited to be back with our family here today. Coach Lauren, say hello. Rex, say hello.
Hey, y'all. I missed y'all.
What it is, what it ain't, what it don't do.
Man. Man, we're back. I'm excited that we're back. Make sure you guys are liking, sharing, sending this out to everybody on every single platform. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, we are so excited for today's episode because it's going to be a really powerful one. And it's going to set you guys up for success for the relationship that you're in right now, whether that's boyfriend, girlfriend, talking phase, fiance, or marriage, right? And some of you that are single who might be blessed with a partner in this coming year, this is going to be a really good episode for you guys because what we are going to be talking about today is your partner must-haves for 2025.
Yes, sir.
So the things that your partner is going to need from you going into this next year. Rex, you were the person that came up with this idea. I want to hear a little bit what inspired you to want to talk about this today.
So, as you know, I'm a relationship therapist, sex therapist, and I deal with couples on a day-to-day basis, right? And I'm thinking about myself, and I'm thinking like, all right, what goals do I want for the new year? And one of those goals is to be a good fiance going into transitioning into it to be a good husband. And I'm thinking like, what do I need to do more or better so I can be a better partner, right? And I was like, you know what, this would be a great topic because not only do people need a mindset shift, but we need a relationship shift. Right. We can't go into the new year with the same old patterns in our own personal life, but we also can't go into the same patterns from our old relational life as well. Right. So if you wasn't a good communicator in 2024, if you don't add anything to your life or become better or become more in 2025, you're going to still be a terrible communicator. If you lack an empathy or even when it comes to not being able to ask for what you want sexually, you're not going to be able to do that either when it comes to 2025. So I think this right here is going to be a really great conversation to have so people are equipped with the information needed and necessary to have a successful 2025.
That's great, man. That's great. Coach, you have anything you want to add to this topic before we hop into our points?
I feel like I'm going to be stressed. It's giving real stretchful tonight.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah, it's feeling really stretched already. We're not even started.
That's good.
No, I'm excited about the conversation, though, seriously.
Yes. So we're going to hop right into it. We've all come up with 2 to 3 points ourselves about our partner must-haves for 2025. So, Coach, you want to go first? Ladies first?
Let's get it.
I guess so. I was trying to be like Esther and let somebody else.
Rex, you can go if you need to. Coach, you want to pass the baton?
No, I'm good. I can jump into it.
Okay.
So Rex brought up something that was really in our time as we were kind of talking about this and preparing for this tonight, and he brought up a really good point about something that I shared on the Men's Morning Mastery. And one of those things that I shared and that is still very true today, and I do believe men, if you're listening, please tap in and listen, lean all the way in on this, and women as well. Of what does your partner really need, right? From a security space in the relationship to a growth area, like even the growth of the relationship. And so one of the things that I shared was a woman, our desire is to know where your gaps are, not to exploit them, but to know where to fill in and where to serve and where to truly like be the helpmate. And partner. And I do believe that, quite honestly, when even if you're dating and you're moving into that stage of like you're serious about a person, I do believe that there is space for us as women to be able to start serving now, because what you do in the off season, that's what you're gonna do on game day, baby. So it's not gonna just turn on, because I'm a wife, now I'm doing this. The devil is a lie.
Yeah.
Child, listen, it takes 21 days to create a habit. Okay. So you're not. And so this season is the season that I do believe that vulnerability is going to be required, not recommended or suggested as some passive optional thing to do. And then also, I do believe for 2025, um, one of the things that I believe that for men that women are going to need is a safe space. I
Yeah.
believe like this is a season that you see a lot of us strong-minded, strong-willed women really step into our femininity. And so I just implore you to, if you're dating a woman or married to a woman or engaged to a woman that is strong-minded and strong-willed, just don't look to your left. She's looking at you.
Yeah,
Um,
literally.
lean in. Let me go and tell you the cheat code of
Mm,
what she needs. And one of those things is intentionality.
mm.
So intentionality, a safe space, and vulnerability.
That's good. That's actually really good. What you got, Moss?
Man, my first point is an increase in your grace.
Mm,
That's a big
yeah.
one,
Ooh.
man. For me, I think it is so easy. Uh, whether you are improving in your own areas and developing yourself, or if you're not, it is very easy for us to look at the other person and their flaws, the things that they're still struggling to get right, um, and the areas that they're trying to improve in, but they just ain't perfect at it yet.
Yeah.
It's very easy for us to look at that and say, why can't you get this right?
Yeah.
What is it? Why is it that we're continuing to have the same problem over and over again? And I know that for men, because I've done this, I know I've heard my brothers speak on this all the time, especially when it comes to levels of emotion. We get very tired and annoyed very quick when it comes to the same emotional battles that we have to deal with our woman. Or why are you not confident in yourself? Why are you sitting here second guessing me and trusting me? Why are these particular emotions continuing to trigger themselves after however long we've been in this relationship? And grace is what's needed, because when you increase your level of grace, one, it's an example of the emotional intelligence you have for yourself,
Yeah.
right? Because you
Mhm.
know that you had your flaws and somebody had to show you grace. And so you can now extend that same grace to somebody else. Your empathy is increased because you understand we're not too different. I have
Yeah.
my battles, you have your battles. But two, it's also a tool to help somebody improve in that area. When
Mhm.
you give them grace and a person knows that, like, okay, this is an area that I know that I've been failing at, or an area that I'm coming up short in, or I know I said I'd do better and I'm not doing better right here in this moment. When you attack them and you react to them, people just shut down and they don't take that positively. Versus when you give grace and you extend love to that person, it's almost like when you make a child, they mess up. One thing, my sister, I'll tell y'all a story real quick. My sister never had to get whoopings growing up. All my parents had to say to them was, I'm disappointed. And she would never do the same thing again. Me, on the other hand, I was not the same way, right? But for my sister, that's all it took, was for her to know the emotion that a person felt behind it. And she didn't have to go through some harsh punishment in order to learn from it. And I think that that helps a lot of women in general. I don't think women respond well to that harshness, that direct, approach. I think that that soft and graceful approach really makes a difference and encourages somebody to come through.
Man, two very powerful points. And I want to add both to both of those actually. And it talks to safety, right? It speaks to one thing. This is for the women. One thing that your man is going to need from you in 2025 is to listen, right? If I haven't learned anything from the Morning Master meetup, it's that men have a lot they want to say. They just need the space to be able to say it,
Hmm.
right? So every single morning I ask questions, right? And one thing I notice is if I skip somebody, they'll say, "Hey, bro, you forgot me," right? Yeah, hey, you forgot me. I didn't go yet. And I realized that no, they actually have a lot that they want to say. And the calls went from 20 minutes to now we're on the call for an hour because brothers are more comfortable, more vulnerable, and they feel like they can share more. And it's such a beautiful thing when you get a brother that's open enough to tell you about their trauma, to tell you about their hurts, to tell you about their emotions. And now you can see where they need help. You can see where they need you to show for them the most, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you create this space for your partner to talk, to be heard, to be vulnerable, to be seen, then I promise you, you will get the results that you need from him. That's just like showing him more grace. That's showing him more safety. But if you're shutting him off, if you're not trying to listen, you're only trying to respond and you're not trying to understand, you're not going to get what you want from him. But what you will get is a man that withdraws, a man that shuts down, a man that sits in the parking lot for an hour before he comes to the house, a man that'll never check in with your emotions to ask you about yourself because he knows that anytime he gives you anything, you're going to be emotional and you're not going to want to just listen. So, except for him trying to tell you what he needs from you, he now has to tend to your emotions, except for trying to give you what he's feeling. So these are things. This is one of the big things that your man is going to need from you is to listen, not to listen to respond, but to listen to truly understand, to feel him, to see him, not only him as a person, but see his heart too.
That's good. That's real good, Rex. I
Oh.
love that. And I want to make sure I'm clear. When we're saying these, are we saying what we need from our partner or what they need from us?
Both. No,
All
no.
right.
What your relationship is going to need.
Okay.
Wait, no. No matter of fact, what your partner's what your partner's going to need. That's been a topic. What your partner's going to need. Your partner needs you to listen.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you were
Well,
right.
it's a universal thing. It's not just a man woman thing. It's like a
Right.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
Mhm.
I want to make sure I frame things correctly. So we had somebody in the comments. I dropped the question, what do you need from your partner in 2025? Clay has said confidence.
Confidence.
That's good. I think that's powerful.
But before you go any further, that is so powerful because think about it like this, right? As a man that has a beautiful fiance, right? If I'm not confident in myself, then every single time she's dressing nice or she's wanting to feel sexy or she's having a conversation with somebody in my presence, I'm going to feel insecure. I'm going to feel like I have the budget. I'm going to feel like I have to put my you know what I'm saying, my what's the word I'm looking for? Put my
Your
hand down,
best
put my
foot out
feet
there.
down. Yeah, trying to cut everything off, right? And not allowing her to flourish how she's supposed to flourish because of the lack of confidence in myself. So you not only need to know who you are, but you need to know who you are. You need to know who your partner is and who you are to them.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not secure in your relationship, then that's another thing. But if your partner doesn't give you any reason to not be secure, if they haven't given you any reasons to be insecure, then you need to have that confidence so that they could feel it on you.
What do you say to men who may have a trouble with their woman when they say confidence? They thinking about, I need you to give me confidence that you trust in me and my leadership, or that you believe I can do it. What would you say to that man who needs that from his woman? What would you say to those women?
No, well, I'm gonna answer from the men's perspective, and coach, you can answer from the woman's perspective. But I think for me, the very first question I'm going to ask is, where did I lose your confidence? Where did I lose your trust?
That's good.
Where did I lose it? Was it because the bill came up and I was short that one time? Was it because the lights almost got shut off? Was it because when we was walking on the street, you was walking to the street side, I was walking to the inside, and you almost got hit by that car, and now you don't feel like I can protect you? Like, where did I lose your confidence? Was it because you came to me with a problem and I didn't have an answer, so you had to go to your daddy? Like, where did I lose your confidence? So that's the very first question I would ask my partner if that was me.
That's good. What would you say, coach?
Rex definitely took the words out of my mouth, but I also, so I'll say this portion of it. If I was the person that was struggling with the confidence issue, I would fix it. And sometimes I think diving deeper, asking more questions, listening to learn, is really key. And a lot of times we can unpack and really start to get to the depths of like what's really the issue. Because a lot of times the issue is not the issue. Like it's just, the mask to the issue, right? And so really diving deeper and asking like, so what comes up for you when this happens? What is this signaling to you? What is your heart hearing when this happens? Because those are the things that are actually going on. And if you can get to that, then you can get to the truth. And a lot of times, the confidence issue is a self issue. It's you're not happy with you. And so because you're not happy with you, it's almost like you're wanting me to be unhappy with you too, in your actions, in the way you respond, and the way you try to control and try to like force your way for certain things, or you try to make me alter who I am so you can feel comfortable staying at the level of comfort, which is not the level of growth. And so tapping into what are you really afraid of? Is it
That's
losing
good.
me or finding the real you?
Yeah.
That's a double-fold question. That's a scary question for a lot of people because they don't know the answer either one.
That's powerful. I love it. I love it. All right, let's move on to our second points.
Yeah, point number 2.
Okay. Coach, you're up. I think Coach gave all 3 of her points in the first one.
Absolutely did. But
She pressed the
okay.
gas.
Did I was like, we're going on with it.
We forget that the way that we do it, that we used to, Rex, she hasn't done that with us before.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
We should have communicated.
yeah,
It's
so
like
let
my
me
first night online.
yeah, so let oh wow. Hey.
That's our fault.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go, and then Coach can piggyback off what I'm about to say. Okay. So point number 2, your partner's gonna need you to expand your capacity in order to increase your ability in your relationship. Right? What does that mean? Does that mean if you are struggling with being a wife or struggling with being a new husband, there's books on that, there's resources on that, right? Need you to go get the help. Right. I need you to expand your ability to communicate so you can increase your ability to sit in a conversation with your partner, to have the hard conversation. If maybe you're not a handyman and you struggle with that, but you're not in a position to pay for somebody else to come and fix something, expand your capacity by going learning how to do something so you can increase your ability. Right. So wherever it is that you lack in your relationship, there's a resource to go fix it. Now, if there's a problem that's not fixable, then that's another thing. But if it's fixable and it's solvable, go find a solution. That's what your partner's going to need from you. Because if you coming to them with excuses and they're asking you for stuff that you can't give and you don't have the finances to go outsource it, then you got to go find some solutions. And they're going to get tired of that. And that goes back to my first point of losing trust. If your partner comes to you for something that they need, or they're asking you to do something and you don't have the capacity for it, things can go left.
Yeah.
I think we just lost Coach.
I don't know what happened, but we're still in here. We're still live, so we're gonna keep talking.
All right, bet. We're done.
No, Rex, that's good though, because the reality behind it is trust is built in repeated circumstances of showing up.
100%.
Right? When you can't show up, and what I mean is not just showing up and being physically there, but showing up as in being the person that is needed in that moment.
Yep.
Whether it's an emotional moment and they need that trust has been harmed because when there was this emotional circumstance, you didn't have the capacity to be able to deal with it.
Yep.
Now they don't feel like they can trust you with their emotions. When it was a financial moment, when it was a figure it out, we need to get something done around the house. Those moments when you need to show up and show that you are here and ready and prepared to do whatever it is that you need to get done to be a part of the solution and not continue the problem is what builds trust in a relationship. So, I think that's really good that you said that, bro. Because I've been in those spaces where I'm like, dang, you don't trust me. And I love that you said the question has to be asked, where was the trust lost?
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, I remember I want to say we were still in college with me and my lady. And I can't remember if it was something wrong with her car or something. And I'm like, why are you calling your pawpaw to have him, tell you what you need to do, change your battery or something like that? I can do this. And it really offended me. Like, why you didn't just ask me to do it? I can do it. I can figure this out, and that was a conversation that we had to have because her and her sister, their pawpaw does everything for them, right? Like he's always been that type of man to show up for them. And so her leaning on another person to then show up after her pawpaw's been the one showing up, that was a tough thing for her to relinquish.
Yeah.
And it was a scary thing for her to trust me in those moments. But I had to learn not to take that personal and realize that like, yo, this isn't normal for her. This is not her normal process. So it's not fair for me to just get so upset with her as if she's supposed to just come into this willy-nilly and trust somebody who she's never seen work on a car, have no history with a car, know how to do something with a car.
Yeah.
So I couldn't take that personal, but I did have to express to her, give me the chance to show you. And then when those opportunities came, I had to show up. It was go time, right? And through that, you develop that trust to where now she gonna call me first. And I love that. But that's a process. Coach, we don't know where you went. We don't know what you heard.
Like mid whatever, my Wi-Fi, shout out to AT&T, just went like, bye girl. I didn't know y'all still alive.
Yeah, but no, mom just got through saying some very powerful stuff, and it's just like give me the ability to show up for you.
Yeah,
Give me the
Mm.
chance to.
yeah,
Because if you give me the chance to, let me show you what I can do. But if you give me the chance and I fumble the bag,
okay,
then I can understand where there's a breach in our trust, right?
yeah,
But if you give me the chance, I'm actually showing up for you. Okay, let me continue to show up for you.
yep.
So that's really good. So Miles, what you got?
All right, so my next point, the things that your partner is going to need in 2025, your partner is going to need you to go to therapy.
Mm.
Just speak on it and say it for real.
In Jesus'
Because I
name,
see
amen.
it. I see it too much. I see it too much, and I see it with everybody I meet. When we talk about their relationship, it don't matter if it's my boys, my homegirls, my lady, my mama, my dad. It don't matter. Everybody I know is going through something that they've been dealing with for a long time. And you start to see how responses are so interwoven into so many different things, right? It's not just they say, oh, well, the reason why I don't go down this route is because I feel safer in this space, but they won't say they feel safe. I can read it because I've been in therapy and I realized that for me, that's what I was doing. But when I'm seeing them talk about it, they're saying, oh, I'm just happy, where I'm at now. I don't want to think about that stuff that happened in the past because that stuff, that's a dangerous place for me to go. And it's like, no, 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 no. You're scared that if you have to go back to address your traumas of what will be revealed and what will happen. You're afraid to go back to that place because you think that if you go back to that place, you're going to lose everything that you built,
Yeah.
right? You need to go to therapy because no person, your partner, cannot do that for you. They don't have the tools and the equipment to get through that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Me as somebody who's been to therapy, I don't have the ability, no matter how well I try to communicate certain things, to help my partner with some of the things that she goes through. I can help
Yeah.
her with some of those things, but some of those things I'm not equipped for. And you have to know that. Your partner is not your doctor, they're not your therapist, right? They're there to help, but they don't have every single solution and they don't always have the capacity to do certain things. And you need to go get professional assistance with those particular things. So that way you come back into your relationship. Everybody benefits from it. You'll be better as an individual. You'll be a better partner. Your partner will be a better individual, and you'll be a better partner. I believe that everybody needs to have individual therapy. You need to have couples therapy that you're doing routinely because those things are no different than going to the gym, your fitness regimen. Any of those things, they're a part of your daily maintenance that help you maintain a mental well-being and emotional well-being that's going to make your life more fulfilled. So in 2025, you've been putting it off. If you don't think therapy applies to you, I guarantee you got a story and you have some things built up that you need to get off your chest and you need to have addressed. Go to therapy.
Listen, I want to piggyback off that, and that's going to be so important. There's so many men that I see in the comments, they say, well, I don't need therapy.
Mm,
I'm good, right? I
mm,
talk to my guys or I talk to my dad, I don't need therapy. But the thing is, one thing that therapy is going to do is going to help you build a relationship with
mm,
your therapist, right? It's going to help you build safety. It's going to help you identify what safety even means for you,
yeah.
right? It's going to help you expand your emotional vocabulary. It's going to help you uncover some trauma that you never addressed. It's going to bring about some feelings that are going to be ugly. Sometimes it's going to be tough. Sometimes your nervous system is going to be overwhelmed, but that's totally fine. That's what it's supposed to do. Because if I can overwhelm your nervous system, then I can teach you how to calm it back down, right? If I can teach you that in a calm setting, then whenever you have a blow up with your fiance or with your wife or with your partner, you don't blow up and completely go left when it comes to them.
Mm,
But you'll be able to say, hey, babe, actually, I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm stepping outside of my window of tolerance. I need to calm it down. I need to take a quick break, and then we come back to it, right? It puts you in a position to learn process. It puts you in a position to learn how to think. It puts you in a position to understand what you're feeling. It puts you in a position to learn how to empathize with your partner because that's what they're going to be needing. And then when it comes to couples therapy, you have like a mediator. So sometimes men and women, we don't speak the same language, and that's totally fine. But the thing is, if I have a mediator that says, you know what, Mr. Howard, what your partner is trying to say is this. And then the therapist can give you the language to give to your partner
yeah.
to help you guys understand each other. So, like Miles said, one thing your partner's going to need is to do individual counseling before you even hop into a relationship, and just also have that preventative maintenance. But also when it comes to getting married or taking things to the next level, if you've never been there, if you've never been exposed to that in your life, and your parents aren't married or your grandparents aren't married, you're going to need structure. And that's exactly what therapy going to do.
That's good. That's real good. I think that a lot of us believe, where was I about to go with this, man? I think that a lot of us believe that therapy is not something that's applicable to us because it's just talking about your thoughts and your feelings. And I don't need to do all that. I got people to talk to, this is that and that. I can give you a real life circumstance that just happened this past weekend. I was up in Pittsburgh for my girlfriend's white coat ceremony.
That's
And we're
dope.
with her. I'm with her mom, her sister, and her sister's boyfriend. And we're about to go out to eat. Actually, we're at dinner at this point. But when I tell you it had been the most annoying day possible at that time, right? And there had been a bunch of just small bickerings that had been happening. It didn't involve me, and it was just sisters doing sisterly things. Nothing serious. But that stuff was getting on my nerves, right? It was getting on mama nerves, and it was getting on her boyfriend's nerves. We all just sitting there annoyed. And I'm sitting at the table, and I'm really about to bring that energy into the table too. I'm still frustrated. And I sat there and I said, do your breathing. And I sat there for 30 seconds. They thinking I'm praying. I'm sitting there doing my breathing, closing my eyes, breathing in deep and exhaling out. And within that 30 seconds, I'm letting go all the things that I'm feeling, and telling myself to release all those thoughts, clear your head so that way you can start new and you can show up with the energy that you need to show up with. And it did. It resolved all that for me. And we were able to have a very good dinner. But me in the past, I would have had all types of energy pent up. And every single time she want to ask me something, "Oh, I don't want to hear all that. Now you want to talk? Now we want to communicate," right? Like it would have been a completely different energy, and we wouldn't have been able to have a successful night. Therapy gives you tangible things that you can use in the midst of battle. And I think that's what a lot of people miss about therapy. And that's why you need it.
So, question I have for Coach Lauren: you work with a lot of men, right? In a coaching setting that struggles in relationships to communicate with their spouses. So can you, from your perspective, can you say why you feel like therapy is so important, not only for women, but for men and the couple as a whole?
So yeah, one of the things that I was jotting down as I was listening to both of you is that therapy doesn't fix, it equips. And I think a lot of times we think therapy is going to fix us. It doesn't fix you, it equips you. And one of the things that I see as a marriage and relationship coach being one of the biggest struggles is that we don't have the equipment. So it's like, well, why can't you dig this hole? Well, I ain't got no equipment to dig this hole. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have language. And so the reason that it is super powerful and just so important is because I mean your biggest central nervous system is your mind. Like everything happens in your mind. Your mind tells you to do everything. It tells you when you're hungry, it tells you when you're angry, like it tells you everything. And if we're gonna study to show thyself approved, you gotta know your own mind, like study to show yourself approved mentally, because you don't know how it works. It's with you all day and you don't know how it works. Your mouth is with you all day and you don't know how it works. So clearly, I think a lot of times we discount the power of words, which I think it's baffling, especially for Christians. The word says the life and death is in the power of your tongue. Shouldn't you want to know how this works? But we don't. And I was looking at a study here recently, and it said that on average, we spend in the US about $30,000 on the wedding day. 30,000 on one day. I know they're not lying because I spent 30,000 on one day. So they're lying. I know they're not. I'm a part of the statistic. But on average, we invest $500 a year on the marriage. That is $41 a month. That's a tank of gas for some people. So you mean to tell me you're gonna spend $30,000 for one day for you to post on social media and everybody tell you look pretty, and then you only gonna spend a full tank of gas on the match?
That's real.
It's the craziest thing, but it's what we're doing. And it's because we don't think that therapy is important, talking is important, dealing with our past traumas are important. And so I tell people all the time, I'm not here to fix you, I'm here to equip you. I'm not here to fix you, I'm here to equip you. And if I can give you the tools, then you can be successful. But you can't be successful with something you don't even have the tools to begin with.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
Wow. Therapy doesn't fix you, it equips you. I like that.
That's a bar. That's
Rex,
a bar.
what's your number 3, man?
It's coming with a hat, a matching hat with Rex's outfit. Rex, drop that on the hat,
Hey,
Rex.
no. It's on the way. It's on the way. January 1st.
There we go.
January 1st. All right. So point number 3, what your partner's going to need is they're going to need a co-pilot and not a backseat rider. Right.
Yeah.
They're going to need a co-pilot, not a backseat rider. I need you we need to tackle this problem together. I don't want to tackle it and then let you know, hey, the problem's over with. The problem's done. No, I want to tackle the problem together. I want to find solutions together. I want us to build trust. I want us to build safety. I want us to build connection. I want us to build intimacy. For a lot of people that struggle with intimacy issues, the man deals with it by himself. The wife says, go get fixed. Go to your doctor. The wife says, go to a counselor, go to a sex therapist. But one thing in my research when it comes to sex therapy with couples, it's recommended that the man and the wife come together because not only does he experience things, she's experiencing things, you got to experience together. So if we face problems together, if we communicate together and we don't see each other as problems, but we see the problem as a problem and we're partners in this bad boy, we can figure it out, right? Even when it comes to finances. We need to be on one accord about what we're doing and how we're spending money. Okay, if my money is going to the bills, can your money go to investing? Can your money go into putting stuff back to make sure the kids' school, college get paid for? Or do you have this mindset that my money is your money and your money is your money? What's your mindset? Right? Where is your head at? Is that a co-pilot partnership, or is that a backseat rider that he's just your Uber driver and dropping you off to the next destination and waiting on you to get through shopping? Right? So that's what your partner's going to need. They're going to need for you to be a partner and to be a co-pilot and not a backseat driver.
Man, Rex, tell me something. What does it feel like for a man when he feels like he doesn't have a co-pilot next to him and he just has a backseat ride? What does that do to him?
He feels like he has dead weight. He feels like he had a kid, right? I'm not comparing the kid to dead weight, but what I'm saying is if I've never raised kids and I'm raising my partner, if my partner depends on me for everything and I can't depend on them for nothing, if my partner never can come up with a solution, if my partner can't control her emotions, if my partner gets overwhelmed when conversation gets too intense and now she just shuts down like a child, and then it feels like I'm carrying dead weight, right? So if I ever fall, she ain't there to catch me. If my money ever get low, she not there to spot me. If a bill can't get paid, she looking for the next person to go find comfort in it while I got to deal with this bill by myself. So it just feels like dead weight when you have a partner that's there, that's want to ride in the back seat while you do all the driving, do all the navigating, things of that nature.
That's good. That's good. Coach, you got anything for that?
I wanted to add something that I didn't say earlier, and I would say community. Who you are around, like, matters. And I think a lot of times we don't think community matters, but it absolutely does. And who you listen to matters. Who has your ear matters. And if you're listening to, if you listen to another bitter woman, that's not going to elevate your relationship. If the women in your life are saying, "Oh, I wouldn't do that," good and well, when Black people say you better than me, that is not what they mean. It absolutely means you're stupid. Like, listen, it definitely gives, when they hit you, girl, you better than me. If you keep finding that the things they're saying is you're better than me, and it's not anywhere biblically sound, you probably should stop taking that advice.
Yeah.
because it's going to take you off path. It's going to take you out of one accord and off of alignment with your partner. And which is more important, winning the game alone or winning it together? So community, healthy community.
What is it like when you don't have community, when you have the wrong people around? What does that do to your relationship, Coach?
Oh, it destroys it. You start acting like who you're around. So if your homegirl snapping her neck, I know you ain't, and you're gonna start doing that mess on.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen. And even the things you watch. I remember when I was married, I used to love to watch like the reality shows that ain't no reality. And no shade to reality show people, but they ain't no reality.
Yeah.
And I remember my ex-husband saying to me, like, you starting to almost like act like that. I was like, what you mean? Like I thought like that was just crazy.
Yeah.
This was yet another thing he was right about. He was right. I can say it now.
Yeah.
Now you know, I don't watch those things. There's no edification there, but that's what tends to happen. We start to mimic the behavior that we are engaging in the most, and we almost don't even realize it. That you know, bad company can corrupt good character, and that's Proverbs tells us that. So yeah,
that's powerful. That's good. Community.
So I want to say something. You said something earlier. Who has your ear? Who has your ear? It's so important because it takes me back to the Garden of Eden, right? Who had Eve's ear?
Yeah. That's
right. The wrong person, not her husband. You know what I'm saying? Not her husband. So it's just like, it reminds me of a couple that I'm counseling, right? And the problem is every single time the young lady gives her partner something, he goes to his mom about it. Right. And the mom has a disliking for the daughter. So she gives him advice that benefits him, but doesn't benefit her or benefit them as a whole. So I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you about something. This is the part of leaving and cleaving, right? Where you got to start having your own thoughts. You have to start you start having to be your own man. And if your fiance or wife gives you something, then you have to figure out what to do with it. And you can't go to mama for it, right? Come bring it to me, right? Bring it to me or bring it to somebody that you can trust. But if you take it to mama, you already know mama's going to give you wrong advice, right? Based off trying to protect you and not trying to protect the relationship. So you got to be mindful of who has your. You got to be mindful of, are you going to your single friends for advice for your relationship, right? Are you going to one of your guys' advice, trying to get advice from one of your guys that's still out in the streets, right? That's still living in his promiscuous era, right? Or are you going to get advice from your homegirls that relationships fail every single time they hop in them? Who has your ear?
Yeah.
Because the same person that has your ear, that's going to be the person you end up with in 2025, because your partner will no longer be there.
Hey, go be there.
Facts.
Hey, go be there. That's good. And that remind me of something that we posted on the page today, I want to say, or it might have been yesterday. But when you were talking about a previous ex of yours, and you mentioned the fact that when you weren't showing up no more, somebody else had her attention, right? Somebody else had her ear.
Yeah.
And that's just another example of that. Is like, when we don't have the right community around, when we're not showing up in the right place, all these things are the same. Who has your ear? I love that. Coach, thank you for that one. All right. So my point number 3, I think I'm the last one. Buying in completely to a role of servitude. That's what your partner is going to need in 2025. I'm saying this to the men, but the women, y'all need to hear it too, because I usually say men struggle with the idea of being in a servitude mindset, but the more and more that I see more and more relationships, a lot of women in today's world really struggle with the concept of servitude, because they see it from just like they think that the definition of submission is like a slave, right? We have very wrong representation and definitions of what these words mean. So when I say you need to take on a mind and a role of servitude, I mean you need to be enthusiastic to show up for your partner, to cater to your partner, to take care of your partner, to do little things for your partner, with and without the masking, right? I need you to show up as a person who, when you come into that house and you see certain things need to be done, even if they typically do it, you take care of it for them, right? I need you to be the type of person that when Even if they just being lazy, they ask you, hey, can you go get me some food real quick? Can you heat up that food that's in the pantry or whatever it is? Before you sit there and you take the role, and you can't be selfish. Don't get me wrong. I understand you're tired too, just like they're tired. I need you to think. I need you to think about the fact of if we're supposed to be in submission, if the role of love and obligation to this person, I must serve you, right? And if you want to speak biblically, right, like Christ loved the church, the service that he did, right, a servant leader, then before you complain, because you could also be in the same place as them, you remember your role. And I need you to get up, go make that dinner, right? I need you to get up, go grab that ice cream. I can't tell you how many times I don't want to do it, right? But it's practice when I become married. I'm thinking about that now because I know that I have a selfish tendency. And the only way that I get out of it is by intentionally practicing it on a daily basis. What way can I serve her today? Right? And what things does she need from me to make sure she knows not only is she one of the biggest priorities in my life, but that it is a part of my love for her that continues to push me towards making sure she's good in any way that I can. So you need to take on a mindset of servitude. For the guys, y'all understand what that means. For the ladies, y'all understand what that means. I believe, that everybody understands what that means. We just don't like it at times. But basically, it means doing the things you don't like to do. Them things that don't come so easy and that you struggle with because you thinking about yourself. That's the things you need to lean into. And I guarantee when both partners are taking on a mindset of serving each other, relationships become almost a game of pleasure where both people are just looking for the best ways to love each other.
What you said is so powerful, brother. Like it's so powerful. And for the person that if your father or if your mother has done everything for you, you're
Mm,
used to receiving and you're not used to giving,
mm,
right? And so it's common for you to have a partner that's considerate because that's what you're looking for in the first place. You're looking for somebody that's going to be able to give, 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 give.
yeah,
But one thing about that giver, they
yeah,
need something too,
yeah,
right? So when they start asking you for certain things, you got to be considerate. When they start asking for certain things, it's going to be uncomfortable for you to step outside your comfort zone and to start giving. But if you want that relationship to be something that can be sustained, if you want
yeah,
that person to have happiness when it comes to the relationship, you have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. You got to be willing to do things you aren't used to doing. You got to be willing to do things that you didn't see in your house growing up, right? You have to do whatever it takes to make the relationship flow. Like literally have this mindset that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to go the distance because if you are not used to serving, and I use this thing with my lady all the time. I tell her, I found so my lady's a nurse, right? The area in the hospital that she works are critical care, right? So people that's close to death or about to die, kind of the same thing. And she says a lot of these people, Rex, they can't bathe themselves when they
mm,
use the bathroom. I gotta change them. When the stores happen, I gotta seal it up. I gotta give them everything they need. And I said to her one time, I said, if it ever comes to a point where I get ill and I can't do anything, will you change my diaper?
mm,
She was like, of course.
mm,
That's a no-brainer. And she asked me the same thing, and I said, absolutely. So
mm.
you really have to be willing to do whatever it takes. But if you have lived your whole life where you want people to serve you, but you're not willing to serve them, if your partner does get sick, you're trying to call somebody for some help. You ain't trying to be the first one to serve them.
Yep.
Mama Key, I don't know what to do. He over here book on.
Mhm.
I don't know what to do. And it just reminds me, it takes me back to I have a little cousin that my uncle's daughter, my mom adopted her, right? And I remember when she was a kid and she couldn't wipe herself. She used to always say, RJ, I'm done. I'm done. And you gotta go in there and make sure she get taken care of. And it puts me back in it like as it wasn't my job, that was not my daughter.
Mhm.
But as family, as somebody that I love, as somebody that if my mom was not home, my sister's not home, I'm responsible for. I'm going to make sure she's taken care of. So you
Yeah.
have to make sure you're responsible for what's ever in your home. And if you don't learn how to serve, or if you have issue with serving, then what you have it won't last. I promise you, you won't have them in 2025.
Yeah. That's good.
Mhm. Now you have high turnover.
Real high.
Very expensive business.
That's good. That's good. Lauren, you got anything?
Man, I think you guys definitely tapped on quite a bit tonight, and I do have something. I'll say this for the ladies that may be new here. Serving and submitting has to be the closest thing to loving God there is.
Mm,
Um, and I've found myself saying this in my coaching sessions. 'Cause a lot of times as women, we like, wow, it shouldn't take all that. I shouldn't have to do all that. Well, think about it like this. You thank God every day, and you've never seen him.
Hmm.
But you thank him every day. You ask him to forgive you every day. Every day you ask him to do something. It's no different with your partner. So when
Yeah.
you say it shouldn't take all that, like something as simple as thanking him for doing XYZ, like you don't know how far gratitude will really take your relationship. Gratitude will change somebody else's attitude about you before
Yeah.
you change your attitude for
Yeah.
you with
Yeah.
yourself. And like those are simple things that men love. They will go above and beyond just because they know that you're going to not have a sense of entitlement
Hmm.
when it comes to the things that they do or the things they spend money on when it comes to you, or how intentional they are about showing up for you. And so taking submission as a code of honor, like a badge of honor, and not looking at it as slavery. It's only slavery when you're doing it for a man you don't want. But
Mm.
it ain't slavery when you're doing it for a man you do want. When you
That's good.
appreciate that man,
Yeah.
it ain't slavery when you're doing it for a man you want. It's only slavery when you're doing it for a man that you don't want and that you feel underappreciated by and that you don't have respect for.
That's a
But when
bar.
it's the opposite way, I promise you, you're grateful to do it, you're excited to do it, you're honored to do it, and that should be our posture.
Mm.
First and foremost, that should be our posture. So I just want to employ us to like go submit.
Love
Yeah.
it. That's good. That's real good. Rex, you got anything on that?
Yeah. Only thing I'm gonna add to that is something that your partner's gonna need from you is to go build a relationship with God,
Yeah.
right? To go learn more. Not only to learn more, but to put yourself in a childlike form and be a sponge to the word. It wasn't until past couple years I've been building my relationship. I've been building my knowledge and my wisdom of the word. But this year is the year I kind of took things to the next level. I'm reading on a different level. I'm highlighting things different. Like if I see something in the Bible that's for a woman, I'm gonna highlight it in pink. If I see something for a couple, I highlight it in green. If I see something for a man, I highlight it in yellow. And I got to the habit of doing that. So I'm like, okay, this is what God said I'm supposed to be doing when it comes to being a father, being a husband, taking care of my money, pouring into my leadership, and pouring into my gift. This is how I'm supposed to lead. This is how I'm supposed to serve. Right? These are the consequences for a man that doesn't do these things. And
Mhm.
then I also see there's a clear instruction on how a woman is supposed to show up, right? That's another reason why I created my Proverbs 31 journal, reflective journal for women that will be releasing next week. For the ladies, stay tuned. But what I wanted to do is there's a lot of us that want the information, but we just don't want to go sit down and read the Bible. Once again, the Bible can be tough. It can be a lot of information, but the Bible says sometimes you got to give people milk because
Mm.
they're not ready for food.
Mm.
Right. So what I want to do with this journal is I broke down for the women Proverbs 31. Every verse I gave you two reflective questions to ask yourself for each verse, right? And then you say, how does this apply to my life? How does this apply to my marriage? How do I want to show up as a wife? How do I want to show up as a mom? How do I want to show up when things go left? And you learn the basics of what the Bible asks for. And I always preface in front of every journal that I release is the only way to truly identify and understand scripture is to know who's talking, who are they talking to, what's said before and what's said after, right? And if you jump into that, then you'll have better understanding. So what I want to challenge you to do, both man and woman, is to build a relationship with God, and then to strengthen that relationship by going to your partner and say, babe, this is what I read today. What's your interpretation of this? And how do you think it applies to our relationship? And watch how y'all grow. The last thing I'll say is this. There's a study that shows couples that pray together and read the word together have a less chance for divorce.
Significantly.
Yeah. So keep that in mind.
That's good. That's good, y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. These are my parting words. Something I sent to Rex and Lauren earlier today. I was having a conversation about God and why he gives us free will. And I thought about it because ultimately, my good believers, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that God gave us free will for the ultimate purpose of us giving him the glory, right? We're here to give him the glory, the power, the praise, right? And the obedience and the trust in him. And I think that's what pleases him the most. Like that's when he is most satisfied, is when he sees acts that fall in line with praise and glorification of him and submission to his word. I think about that and say, well, why couldn't God just take away the free will? He could have just made us robots. And he'd have that all the time. If all we knew was praise him, he'd have that all the time. And I thought about it from the perspective of you only know if somebody really loves something based on what they choose to do, right?
That's good.
So when you have free will, you now have the choice to choose God or not. And that is absolutely a choice that we have. Every single day with every single action, we have a choice to submit to him or to not submit to him, to do things his way or not, to follow his word or to try and figure it out on our own. And I think about it from this perspective. If you only know what somebody loves, truly loves, by what they choose to do, then that means that it is not obligation that breeds love. Love breeds an obligation, right? So what I mean by that is this. It's not that I have to, because you're my wife, my girlfriend, I have to do these things because you're my wife and my girlfriend. It's I love you and therefore I do these things for you, right? Because if it's the other way around, then it's not really love. It's force. My role says I have to do this. No, my love for you is what has me doing this for you. I love you so much that I'm going to fit into this role of a husband. And I'm going to do what this Bible tells me to do in the way that I serve you. That gives me the obligation because I love you so much that I've taken on this role. It's not the other way around, or else everybody could just be husbands.
That's good.
Your love matters. And so men and women, remember that your love breeds obligations. When you really love them, that's going to show you the route of the things that you need to do, the things that you are obligated then to do. Don't do things the other way around because it won't give you the results that you want.
That's good. That's a bar. That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. That's good. That's good. So, fellas, I think that was a fruitful conversation. I think I like to end by letting people know what's coming up. What are we excited about going into this year?
I'm excited about a lot of things. I'm excited to serve God. That's it in every facet of my life. I'm excited to serve God. Like you, Rex, the Lord took a hold of me this year in so many ways, man. He humbled me in so many ways. And when I say I'm a submitted man, I mean that.
Yeah.
And every single day, I find myself pruning more things out of my life that don't serve me and making sacrifices that put me further and further in alignment with him. And so I'm excited to continue that going into this next year. And I truly believe that if I continue to just serve and seek his face, all the things, the worldly things that bring me concern, they'll be dealt with.
Absolutely. That's good. One thing I'm excited about is producing content and resources for people to grow and develop. Right. Like I said, I got three journals releasing next week. One is called Unshakable. It's a man's guide to building godly leadership. It's a reflective journal. The second one is Proverbs 31, a reflective journal for young women. Woman's Guide to Becoming a Godly Wife. And then the last one is going to be called Covenant Marriage. And it's a couple's guide to building a godly marriage. And all of this, none of it is Rex's words. All of it literally is straight from the Bible. I did leave a prayer for the couple, for the young lady, and for the young man in the back of the journal. So that's going to be mine. But I'm excited about creating things that's going to help people grow, help people flourish, and help people build stronger and healthier relationships.
Yeah, that's good.
What you got, Lauren?
Yeah, I just feel like y'all always be my business. It's like the perfect alignment ever.
Yes.
But one of the things that I'm excited about, our quiz dropped today. How healthy is your marriage? So definitely click the link in my bio, and take the quiz to find out how healthy is your marriage. I told one of my girlfriends the other day, I said, look, I'm just trying to be an all change place. I'm not trying to be a mechanic. I ain't trying to get you no new engine. That's it. Okay. I'm just trying to change your oil, fix your tires,
Yeah.
and help you do the maintenance, right? So we don't have to rebuild from bottom up. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the group coaching program that's going to be kicking off in January. Our oneness journey, helping the two remain a happy one, and living on one accord. And last thing that I'm excited about is just partnerships, like partnerships with you guys. I've been making such great relationships here this last month of the year that I'm just so excited about what's all going to come from it, and just how it's all going to be in alignment with oneness. So I am excited about helping couples walk in purpose and partnership all of 2025.
That's good. That's a blessing.
That's a blessing, y'all. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in for another one of our shows. It's Real Talk, Real Growth. You guys know what you're getting every time you come here, and that's going to be some real conversations that are going to lead to real improvement. So I'm Miles the Millennial.
It's your boy Rex Howard Jr.
And I'm Coach Lauren J., your favorite coach.
Yeah.
We're out.
Yeah,
We
next week.
out. See you next week.
See y'all next week. Happy holidays if we don't see y'all next week. We should, but just in case.
All right, we're ending out on Instagram.